Hi guys, so today I'm going to be teaching you about a new addition strategy called adding by making a 10. If you look at the blue part at the bottom, our goal is I can add two numbers by making one into a 10. This is a little bit longer video because it's hard to explain, especially when we're not in person, but I know we can do this. Here we go. So first, why is a 10 so important? Tens are so easy to add. That's the reason. Remember, we've been learning about that teen numbers are just a 10 plus a digit. So to prove to you how easy tens are to add to another number, I've got a couple problems down here for you to try. So the first one says 10 plus 9 equals, what do you think? 19. Nice work. Remember, it's just 10 plus those ones. How about this one? 6 plus 10 equals 16. Nice job. Okay, so now that I've shown you why tens are so important, let's talk about how do you make a 10. So there are different pairs of numbers that together can make a 10. At the beginning of the year, we did a Rainbow to 10 worksheet on one of our at-home learning days. And we colored a rainbow and talked about the different pairs of magic numbers that make a 10. Let's see how many of them you can remember here. So the first one in red, I already have for you. 0 and 10 make 10, or 10 and 0 make 10, because you can always switch those parts. How about the orange ones? 1 and, I'll give you a hint. Put up 10 fingers, take away 1. How many are left? 9. 1 and 9 make 10, or 9 and 1 make 10. How about the yellow? 2 and something make 10. Again, if you need a hint, put up 10 fingers, take away 2. How many do you have left? 8. 2 and 8 make 10, or 8 and 2 make 10. Next, 3 and what make 10? 7. And 4 and what make 10? 6. And last one, usually the easiest one for my friends, 5 and what make 10? 5 and 5. 2 5s make a 10. Okay, now that you know how to make a 10, let me show you how to add by making a 10. All right, so I have a couple tens frames here, and we're going to use them to add 8 plus 5. If you notice, neither one of those numbers is a 10. But I'm going to make one of them into a 10 to make it easier to solve. So first, I'm going to put 8 orange circles in my first tens frame and 5 purple circles in my second tens frame to show my 8 and 5. Again, if you notice, if you look at the tens frames, we can see automatically neither one of them are a 10 because a 10 would mean you'd have to fill the whole tens frame. So I notice neither one of them are a 10, but I want to make one into a 10. So my first step is I need to decide which of these numbers is closest to 10, the 8 or the 5. Now I notice that the 8 is almost full. There's just a couple empty spots here. So I think the 8 is closer to 10, and I'm going to want to turn the 8 into a 5. Where can I get some more dots to fill those last 2 spots? What I'm going to do is I'm going to take away 2 from this 5 over here, and I'm going to put them into those last two spots. So now I've filled one of my tens frame, so I made this, instead of being an 8, it's now a 10. And over here I took away 2, so instead of being a 5, it's now a 3. So now I have an addition problem with a 10, and when you have a 10, it's a lot easier. So instead of 8 plus 5, which is a little tricky, I'd have to take out my fingers, I know 10 plus 3 is, you tell me, 13. Nice job. See how making one of those numbers into a 10 makes it so much easier? Now that we know how to do it in a tens frame, which you're going to be doing after this video, you're going to do another tens frame problem, but with 2 different numbers. Now I want to show you how to do it with numbers. So here I have the exact same problem, 8 plus 5. Neither one of the numbers is a 10 like we talked about. So my first step number 1, is find the number that's closest to 10. Just like on the last page, I know that this 8 is closer to 10 than 5. So I'm going to make this 8 into a 10. Step number 2, break up the other number. So since I'm making the 8 into a 10, I'm going to have to break up this 5. To do that, I'm going to make a little number bond here. 5 is my whole, and I'm going to break it up into 2 other parts. Now I want one of the parts to go with the 8 to make it into a 10. Remember in my last page, I had 8 dots in my tens frame, and I wanted to take some away from the 5 to make it into a 10. How many dots did I have to take away to fill that tens frame? 8 and what make 10? It was 2. I had to move 2 of the dots over, so 8 and 2 make 10. So I need to break up the 5 into 2 and another number. So I have to now think to myself, what other number goes with 2 to make 5? I'll give you a hint. Put up 5 fingers, take away 2. How many are left? 3. All right, and I'm going to give you a little hint or a trick here that I like to use. I like to cross off the numbers as I use them because you have to use every number in the problem one time. I've already used the 5, so I'm going to cross it off because what I did with the 5 is I broke it up. I don't have a 5 anymore. Instead, I broke it into a 2 and a 3. So I crossed off the 5 to help me remember. Okay, now I'm on step number 3, add to make a 10. So I have an 8, a 2, and a 3. I need to add 2 of these numbers together to make a 10. Which 2 numbers make a 10? 8, 2, and 3. 8 and 2. So I'm going to add 8 plus 2 equals, that's right, 10. And then I'm going to cross off my 8 and my 2 because now I've used them already. This helps me remember and keep track so I know which numbers I still have to use because I have to use every number one time. So now I have 10, but I still have this 3 left over that I have to use. So I'm going to take my 10 and I'm going to add 3 more, the number that's left. So now I have 10 plus a digit. We know how to do that. 10 plus 3 is 13. Good, and that's my last step, add to the 10. All right, this is tricky, so let's try a couple more examples. So here's my next example, 7 plus 9. So my first step again was to figure out which of these numbers is the closest to 10. Which one should I make into a 10? Well, I know that 9 is almost 10. It's really close. 8, 9, 10. So I'm going to break up the other number. I'm going to break up the 7. So I'm going to make a number bond underneath it. Now I'm thinking, which number goes with 9 to make it into a 10? I want to make it into a 10. What do I need to go with it? 9 and what make 10? 1. So 1 is going to be one of my 2 parts out of the 7. What goes with 1 to make 7? 1 and what make 7? Give you a hint. Put up 7 fingers, take away 1 finger. How many are left? 6. Nice job. And now I'm going to cross off that 7 again. Remember that little hint I gave you? I have to use every number once. So I'm going to cross off that 7 to help me remember I do not have 7 anymore. I now have 6 and 1 because I broke it up. Okay, step number 3 was add 2 of these numbers to make a 10. I have 6, 1, and 9. What were my 2 numbers that make the 10? 1 and 9, or 9 and 1. 9 plus 1 equals 10. There we go. And I'm going to cross off my 2 numbers because I already used them. I used the 9 and the 1, so they are gone. Now I just have the 6 left over. I still have to use it. So I'm going to add it to my 10. So now I have 10 plus 6 equals, there's my 10 plus a digit. You can do this. 10 plus 6 is 16. Nice job. So that means 7 plus 9 also equals 16. Great. Let's do one last example. So again, step number 1 is figure out which number is closest to 10. Which of these numbers should I make into a 10? It's 7 plus 7. So 7 or 7? This one's kind of a funny example, and I used it on purpose because since the numbers are the same, it does not matter. I'm just going to pick one of them. I'm going to make this 7 into a 10. So step number 2 is to break up the other number. So I'm going to break up the other 10 into 2 parts. Now one of my parts has to go with this 7 because remember my goal is to make it into a 10. So I'm thinking in my head, what number goes with 7 to make 10? 7 and what make 10? 3, if you remember your rainbow facts from the beginning. So 7 and 3 make 10. So if I take away 3 from the 7, what other part would I have left? 3 and what makes 7? It's 4. The way you can check it is put up 7 fingers, take away the 3. How many are left? It's 4. So now step number 3 is I'm going to add my 2 numbers to equal, I forgot. I need to cross off that 7 because I already used it. Now step number 3 is to add my 2 numbers that equal 10. I have 7, 3, and 4. Which 2 numbers add together to make a 10? Think about those rainbow facts. 7 plus 3 equals 10. Nice job. And then I'm going to cross off my 7 and my 3 because I've already used them. I have to use each number once. I have 1 number left here, the 4. I still have to use it. Every number has to be used once. So I'm going to add it to my 10. So now I have 10 plus 4. That's 10 plus my digit left over. And that equals, I know you can do it, 14. Nice job. So that also means that 7 plus 7 equals 14. Great job. So I am going to go back to our last slide. Just back a little bit here to remind you what you're going to be doing today. So you're going to be doing a slide like this next. I want you to focus today on using a tens frame to add to make a 10, making those problems a little bit easier. So you're going to be doing a page just like this, but instead of 8 plus 5, it's going to be 2 different numbers. Tomorrow, you will focus a little bit more on the next slide, which was adding by making a 10 with numbers. But I just wanted to give you that little preview today. All right, so remember our goal today was I can add 2 numbers by making one of them into a 10. You'll focus on the tens frame type of problem today, and tomorrow you'll focus on the numbers. Have a great day. Good luck. I know you can do it, first graders.